All right, let's start with the Lakers and the Knicks. Brunson, LeBron getting some love from Carmelo Anthony. Here we go, kick it off in the third quarter. Doncic, the kick ahead to Smart, feeds James for the stuff.
Young legs there.
His face was kind of at the rim there, George.
Yeah, he still can jump. OG Anunoby with the three there, 3 of his 25 points. Next play, Luka with a little spin move there on Landry Shamet.
That was light on his feet.
Yeah, and then pointing at Spike. 2 minutes later, James with the float game.
Wow.
By the way, LeBron named to his 22nd straight All-Star appearance. Here's Jalen Brunson finding a wide-open Landry Shamet for 3. This will be a theme.
Shamet hasn't missed in a week.
Yeah. Now Brunson gets in the act, 3 of his 12. Following play, here's LeBron with the step back. 3-point party continues. Neither team can miss. Then after that, Brunson, he's going to find Anunoby in the corner for 3. Under 2 minutes left in the fourth. Josh Hart is going to take one from the top of the key. He misses. Mitchell Robinson, his third offensive rebound, kicks it to Shamet to the corner. Yep, another 3. And then Shamet one more time for the dagger. Knicks go on to win 112-100. Here's LeBron on his potential last game at MSG and his All-Star appearance.
It's the mecca of basketball here in New York City. Obviously, it's the Big Apple, being here at MSG, playing here. I hope I have like a little small snippet, somebody that came through here who was able to make a little small dent, from a business perspective. Well, I'm still playing at this, latter stage of my career, and to be able to be an All-Star, that means a lot to, my family, my people that's been following my career, my faithful, has been following my journey.
All right, welcome into NBA Today. George Sedano in for Malika Andrews. We're here with Brian Windhorst, the host of the Hoop Collective podcast, and, of course, Bobby Marks, our NBA front office insider. Wendy, we'll start with you. A nostalgic last couple of days for LeBron. So he's visited Cleveland, now New York. What has this week told you about kind of where he is right now?
He doesn't know, I don't think. I think he acknowledges that this could be it. He wouldn't have gotten emotional in Cleveland if he didn't think there was a possibility that would be it. He had comments about this game last night, like sitting there. One of the things you've seen repeatedly this whole season is you've seen him take in moments like this. Even like when he's been in places like New Orleans, he's made comments about that. But when you watch him play and you watch him jump and get his chin up by the rim and have these 25-point, 30-point games, you also can say, well, how can this guy say that he's done? And the truth is he's not going to know until what his body says at the end of the season.
Well, and I think when you look at all-time great players, whether it be basketball or football or baseball, there's always an ending, right? Like the guy who used to hit 300 is now hitting 200 in baseball. This guy is he's an all-star. He was selected to be on the all-star team. He plays like an all-NBA player most of the time here. And if it's not the end, it's going to make into a very interesting summer coming up here.
Yeah, listen, I am going to be curious to see where he potentially ends up, if he stays with the Lakers, if he retires, if he goes somewhere else. So we'll see. But let's flip to the Knicks side of the equation here. They've got a nice little win streak going on here. They've won 6 in a row now, tied for the longest streak this season. And they've been turning things around because they had lost 9 of their previous 11. So let me ask you this. What have the Knicks found during their win streak, Brian?
I think it starts with defense. I know this is a team that was sort of built around their offense. That's what Mike Brown sort of came in to do. But their defense in this stretch. Now, it started off by them holding the Nets to 66 points. So when you look at the numbers, it's like, wow, they're holding these teams to like 90. Well, the Nets contributed to that.
Skewed that a little bit.
But they've held, I think, 3 of the 6 opponents to under 100. The Lakers, who are, frankly, a strong offensive team when they've got their full lineup, and I know Austin Reeves is out, but still, they had a pretty healthy lineup yesterday, and they were barely able to crack 100. So, really, if you look at the way the team was structured to have 2 very strong wing players in Anunoby and Bridges. They're playing well right now. They've got Josh Hart running around all over the place. Karl Towns was just named an all-star. For all of the, stuff he's had to deal with and the fact that some games are going to look better than others, the coaches said he was an all-star. He was plus 23 yesterday. It was a vitally important part of that game. He has had 2 20-rebound games in this stretch. The Knicks have a lot going for them. They are not a perfect team. They will not be a perfect team. But this team, they've spent years putting this group together, and you see that pay off in stretches like this.
Well, and I think we saw in the fourth quarter the physicality The ability to stretch this game, loose second chance points, offensive rebounds by Mitchell Robinson here. And I think it's going to lead up to what's going to happen this week with the trade deadline here. Here's a New York team that's 148,000 below the second apron here. Can they move off a player like Gershon Yabusele, who's been out of the rotation, and pick up some more depth? The one thing I would keep an eye on, and we've said all along when we're talking about Giannis, Knicks don't have a first-round pick. What they do have, they have a Washington Wizards second-round pick, which is basically an extension of the first round. So I would keep an eye on the Knicks later in this week as far as with that Yabusele. How do you get another player and get below that you can sign a player once we get into this buyout period?
All right, let's welcome in NBA champion Iman Shumpert. Are we finding rookies for being lazy? What's up? Good to see you.
No, man. I'm, in between some stuff, doing some things, and just, LA traffic.
I feel you. Yeah. All right, let's get to the Thunder and what they did to the Denver Nuggets yesterday. That thing got interesting real quick, and by interesting, I mean not good for Denver. But Thunder taking on the Nuggets here. Jokic finds Peyton Watson for the dunk. I mean, what a pocket pass.
Hey!
What a finish.
Hey!
And one.
Come on, Chad. No, that's a good play.
All right.
Good play. We don't let that go.
Now here's Joker to the corner to Spencer Jones.
Did you see this pass?
He was just a little sloppy. I'm used to that hitting the hands. Precisely.
But SGA goes to work here.
Jesus.
He pulls up. Shump. SGA feels like he can get to his spot anytime.
Yeah, and the thing is, we know it's coming. You know the counter that's coming, but his guys looked out for him yesterday and made sure they hit shots. They hit all the threes he needed them to for keep him in single coverage. So that was great.
And then SGA starts to get his teammates involved here, Brian. He knows exactly where those guys are.
Yeah, the Nuggets' game plan here was to really, even more than normal, camp in the middle. There were some times when there were 4 or 5 Nuggets in the middle, and he just found his shooters, and they made him pay.
Exactly.
13 assists yesterday for SGA. 10 of them were on three-pointers. But then SGA, it was time for him to take over again. And here he is with this little trick shot. Takes the bump from Hardaway and gets the basket to fall. And then, after we see it again, because it was so nice we had to see it twice, gets to his patented jumper from the elbow. There's the dagger. So, Thunder win by 10. What did they show you in that one?
I think it just showed us that they're going to be consistent as far as what they're going to give us in the playoffs. What we saw last year, we're going to see a lot of that same approach. Can we get my guy, SGA, to the end of the game where he has weapons on the outside, but then we can get him in ISO to play ISO ball? And can another team go point for point with him down the stretch? I don't know. He can get to the free throw line. He can get to a floater. He can get to a step back. He plays in space, and he's a willing passer. If he can make decisions for this team down the stretch and stay healthy, this is a hard team to beat, and we wanted to see this matchup. I know Jokic had a little time off, but when I see this, I see OKC Thunder saying, hey, we are the defending champions, and we have a certain brand of basketball that you guys have to figure out how to beat. Right now, they can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, they're the best team, clearly, Brian, but the Nuggets are still dealing with a lot of injuries on their roster, particularly to Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, so I think seeing Jokic come back and play really well on Friday, you just assumed he'd be ready to go. But I think you saw the effects of the layoff yesterday. He had 6 turnovers. That just doesn't happen. He had like as many turnovers as baskets. There is some hope that before now in the All-Star break that they could get Christian Brown and Cam Johnson back. They are about to go out east. And, look, they just were off this game. That was a nice play by Chet. Jamal Murray made the All-Star team, which was a great day for him, but he was just 4-12. They play in New York. We just talked about how well the Knicks are, how hot the Knicks are running. They play in New York on Wednesday night at the Garden. I'm looking forward to see how that plays out.
I just thought it was a playoff atmosphere, game 1, second round type series. Maybe this will be a Western Conference Finals here. What Oklahoma City was able to do with Cason Wallace and Lou Dort, the ability to make shots and shoot threes. I looked at the numbers. In the games they've won, they're 23rd in the NBA in three-point percentage. That is not their bread and butter. Their bread and butter is not shooting threes here. But there was a stretch in the second quarter, and then there was a stretch in the third quarter with Wallace making, I think he made like 4 or 5 threes in a row here. That separated the game here. And this is a Thunder team without Jalen Williams, without Alex Caruso. They're still injured as far as with this group here. I don't want to say a statement win on the road, but considering how they had been playing, it's a big win for them on February 1st.
All right, well, the dominant performance by the Pistons, beating the Nets by a franchise record 53 points. Bobby, does this Pistons team have any gaps to fill before the deadline?
Well, for watching this game, no. And there was no running clock in this game either here. I think if you can add some perimeter shooting and another ball handler to this group without disrupting your core, I think that's something Detroit should certainly look at.
All right, next up, let's go to the Spurs. They overcame weather delays, mechanical issues, and the Orlando Magic this weekend. Wendy, how long of a day was this for Victor and the Spurs?
What did the Spurs and Bobby have in common yesterday? They both changed planes in Atlanta. That's right. They literally had to change planes in Atlanta like so many of the rest of you. But what I liked about this, they didn't complain. They got up by 15 in the first quarter despite having a rest disadvantage. And Victor had 15 free throws and 4 threes. Not every night, but that is a golden ratio you're going to have trouble beating.
All right, next, Jared Allen and the Cavs with a 40-point-17 rebound game as Cleveland defeated Portland. Shump, how much ethical basketball was in Allen's performance?
And you want a high field goal percentage, go holler at Jared Allen. He made sure that everything he did was at the rim. He set for the pick and roll. He finished around the cup, and he made sure there was dunks. Plenty of them. No crazy highlights, but plenty of them.
There you go. Finish at the rim, man.
My boy, Ja.
Finally, Joel Embiid dropped 40 as the Sixers defeated the Pels. Embiid has played in 14 of the Sixers' 17 games in January, averaging nearly 30 points a game. Wendy, is he back?
Tell you what, he has been so impressive. Now, they begin a West Coast trip this week. Tonight at the Clippers. They can keep it up through this. They're going to really be in good shape.
We have a developing story that broke over the weekend. A 25-game suspension of Paul George for violating the NBA's anti-drug program. The league announced the suspension on Saturday, but did not disclose the substance involved. The suspension will cost him approximately $12 million of his salary. George has averaged 16 points in 27 games this season. George said, in part, quote, "Over the past few years, I've discussed the importance of mental health, and in the course of recently seeking treatment for an issue of my own, I made the mistake of taking an improper medication. I take full responsibility for my actions and apologize to the Sixers organization, my teammates, and Philly fans for my poor decision-making during this process." So, Shump, what's your reaction to Paul George?
I think the only thing we could take from this is to make sure that we talk to the younger basketball players out there and let them know that as you go through this, I feel like the biggest error of this is how long Paul George has been in the league, and he's done an outstanding job. And he knows that if he takes any medication, especially if outside the team doctors, he's supposed to consult with them. So that's the only thing I got for you. Just make sure that if you're a young player out there, make sure that no matter what you have that was given to you, even if it was given to you for the right reasons, make sure you check with somebody on the team that works for the logo to make sure that they have checked all the guidelines and all the rules to make sure there's nothing in there that you can make an error with. But PG, you know how to be a professional.
There is some ramifications here. And I know when the suspension came out, everybody was thinking, well, how does it impact Paul George not playing right now? To set the stage a little bit here, the 76ers were $7.1 million over the luxury tax. Because he is suspended, they get a 50% tax variance credit, we call, of the amount that's suspended. So it's basically 5.8, 5.9 million. So now instead of 7.1, all of a sudden you're $1.3 million above. You could go a lot of different options with that, Brian. You could try to go cost